In your headlines, investigations into the death of a female detainee have been launched, and the Department of Planning are encouraging residents to begin preparing for the active hurricane season. From the PTV Broadcasting Headquarters in Providenciales, your number one source for news, I'm Erica Pinales, delivering the latest from across the country this Thursday, June 9th, 2022, right to your door. Newswatch starts now. On Friday, May the 13th, the Honorable Louis Aswood, former government minister in the Jags-McCartney administration, passed away after a long battle with illness. The official funeral for the Honorable Louis E. Aswood was held at the Paradise Baptist Church in Providenciales, where the support and love for Honorable Aswood felt undeniable, as has been described by the attendees.
I remember as a young boy, Honorable Louis Aswood being the first Minister of Works and Utilities. He was also one of the first members of Cabinet and of the House of Assembly. And so Honorable Aswood has a lot of history when it comes to elected government in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Honorable Aswood served 3 elected terms and also an appointed term. And so he was a 4-term member of the House of Assembly. And I think it's only fitting that we honor him today.
Honorable Louis Aswood was one of the last remaining official freedom fighters and a former government minister in the Jags-McCartney administration. Honorable Louis Edwin Aswood III served 3 consecutive terms in office from 1976 to 1988, then again from 1991 to 1995, according to the history of elections penned by Honorable Derek Taylor and posted at the Turks and Caicos House of Assembly website. He was a founding member of the country's oldest political organization, the People's Democratic Movement, and died around 1 p.m. at the Cheshire Hall Medical Center in Providenciales on Friday, May 13th. Cheryl Aswood Tull, his daughter and author, said, quote, "Daddy was about people and service, but his life was all about benevolence and all about giving to people. That was what he did, making sure people were okay." From ensuring that there was electricity to islanders in Salt Key, North and Middle Caicos, to managing immigration in his ministerial portfolio and pioneering developments in aviation, Honorable Louis Aswood was on Friday paid tribute by radio talk show host and former Minister Robert Hall. 1 hour before Aswood slipped away, Hall described him as having one of the most efficiently run ministries in government in the history of the Turks and Caicos. Louis Aswood was born in Bambera, Middle Caicos on September 16, 1943, and is from the Forbes and Harvey clan there. His father hailed from Grand Turk, which is also where Louis began his education. However, he only completed up to 4th grade. No one would have been the wiser, however, as the man who would be a part of the first TCI ministerial government at the age of only 33 years old was a stellar leader with enviable accomplishments on his record. We learned that what set him apart from others was his ears to the ground mentality. He was a man of trade, not a man of education, and his work was for the development of ordinary citizens. We are told Louis Aswood was a fierce fighter and believer that the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands deserve the best. Condolences have been pouring into the large family he leaves behind, including sympathies expressed directly by Honorable Washington Mizik, TCI Premier. Investigations into the death of a female detainee have been launched, and while details are still sketchy, we are told that she was pronounced dead at the hospital. Here's more.
Shortly after the interception of 3 vessels carrying over 300 illegal migrants to TCI shores, it is revealed that one person being detained at the South Dock Detention Center has died. Information coming into the newsroom is that a detained female began to experience some distress and became unresponsive at around 2 p.m. on Monday, June 6. Shortly after, she was transported to the Cheshire Hall Medical Center, where she was later pronounced dead. Newswatch learns that an investigation has been launched to determine the woman's cause of death and the circumstances leading up to her distress. There has been no information on the identity of the woman or whether or not a next of kin has been notified.
It's time for a quick break. More Newswatch when we return.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Officials of the Department of Planning are encouraging residents who have not to begin taking the steps to preparing for the active hurricane season. They are also warning builders to adhere to the country's building codes. Here's more.
Development Control Engineer of the Department of Planning, Eugene Williams, says it is important that persons take preparation seriously in light of the announcement that the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season will be another above normal season.
Please be advised that you must prepare and maintain your properties by ensure that your roof, the rafters are properly anchored to the ring beams by means of hurricane scraps. The scraps should not be rusted. If so, please replace them. The roof shall be properly covered and have no leaks.
Williams says persons who know they may need to evacuate their homes must also begin making preparations by signing up to be a part of the DDME's shelter list. Contractors are also encouraged to begin to secure materials to fasten equipment and building materials.
Persons that are living in low-lying areas, persons living in valleys or areas prone to stormwater runoff, persons living in uncompleted homes, houses without occupancy certificate. All construction sites shall properly brace down materials such as scaffolds or containers when a storm or hurricane is approaching.
When it comes to livelihood, remember to gather needed items like canned goods and water, flashlights, radio devices, and extra chargers, Ziploc bags with important documents, a waterproof bag packed with hygiene items, and pieces of clothing for all members of your household. Williams says all are encouraged to be their brother's keeper.
Please be reminded that you must secure all important documents such as passports, birth, death, or marriage certificate, land papers, and then a seal or waterproof compartment. For additional information, please reference to the latest Turks and Caicos Building Code 2014, or you can visit our office here in the Providenciales office or Grand Turk. And for a final note, if anyone feels a particular property or neighbor has a hazard to their property, please feel free to contact us in the department for assistance so we can ensure that your property is secured during the next storm.
NOAA's forecast calls for 14 to 21 named storms with winds of 39 miles per hour or higher, with 6 to 10 of those possibly becoming hurricanes with winds of 74 miles per hour or higher, and 3 to 6 possibly becoming major hurricanes.
Fortis TCI announces the recent promotion of 9 employees to various roles within the company. Let's take a look. Fortis TCI Limited is the public electricity supplier in the Turks and Caicos, serving the islands of Providenciales, North Caicos, Middle Caicos, South Caicos, East Caicos, and the adjacent keys. Turks and Caicos Utility Limited, purchased by Fortis TCI in August 2012, delivers electricity on the islands of Grand Turk and Salt Key. The company is most notably known for its strong track record where employees are promoted from within, and most recently they've promoted 9. Jerry Clervaux has been promoted from Manager of ICT to Director of Enterprise Technology. In his new capacity, he is responsible for developing ICOT and effective use of information systems to support the company's business objectives. Robin Forbes has also been promoted from Senior Human Resource Officer to Manager of Learning and Development. In her new role, Forbes will assist in coordinating and administering the company's talent management and learning and development strategy, including life cycle management, designing and implementing systems, practices, procedures, and policies to meet the organization's strategic goals and objectives. Current Author was promoted from senior plant operator to plant control ship supervisor. In his new capacity, Arthur will provide oversight of the senior and junior plant operators and manage the operational crew dispatch and coordination to respond to faults, outages, and emergencies on the grid. Hilorian Forbes has been promoted to lineman to power line technician foreman. In his new capacity, Forbes will provide leadership to and work as part of a line crew in the safe and efficient construction, operation, and maintenance of the land-based and subsea transmission and distribution systems. Jeffrey Desir was also promoted from Power Line Technician Apprentice 4 to a Certified Power Line Technician. In his role, Desir works to support the safe and efficient construction, operation, and maintenance of the transmission and distribution system. Navarro Author was promoted from Substation Technician 1 to Substation Technician 2. Denzel Penn has been promoted from Mechanical Technician 1 to Mechanical Technician 2. Salvano Gardner has been promoted from Mechanic Apprentice 1 to Mechanic Technician Level 1. And finally, Franco Bean was promoted from Mechanical Technician 2 to Mechanical Technician 3. In his new role, we gather that Bean will lead and completely perform plant maintenance on the generating units of the power plants. Commenting on the latest employee movements, for the CCI President and CEO Ruth Forbes stated, quote, "We are proud to have a strong track record where employees are promoted from within. This latest batch of career milestones reinforces our focus on our people and aligns with our talent development strategy for the holistic development of our staff. We channel a significant amount of energy towards providing the right tools, training, and opportunities for employees to excel. We also strive to ensure that working with our company is meaningful and employees experience a sense of belonging daily. Congratulations to our 9 employees on their accomplishments." End quote. Don't touch that remote. We'll be right back. Coming up next is your weather forecast.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Here's your weather forecast for June 9th, 2022. For the nation's capital, Grand Turks, on Friday, partly cloudy skies, high 83, low 78, winds east at 15 to 25 miles per hour. For South Caicos, partly cloudy skies, high 83, low 78, winds east at 15 to 25 miles per hour. For North and Middle Caicos, mostly cloudy skies, high 83, low 78, winds east at 15 to 25 miles per hour. For Parrot and Pine Key, partly cloudy skies, high 83, low 78, winds east at 15 to 25 miles per hour. And on Providenciales, partly cloudy skies, high 83, low 78, winds east at 15 to 25 miles per hour. And for your sunrise and sunset, sunrise 6:06 a.m., sunset 7:33 p.m. And for your high tides and low tides 4:21 a.m., 4:56 p.m., and low tides 10:27 a.m., 11:19 p.m. And for your hurricane outlook for the North Atlantic, Caribbean Sea, and the Gulf of Mexico, tropical cyclone formation is not expected during the next 5 days. And that's it for your weather forecast and hurricane outlook. We'll be right back for more News Watch.
Here at People's Television, we're more than just your leading news and entertainment services. We are
spreading the gospel. We are breaking barriers.
We are preserving the culture. Each one, teach one.
We are committed to excellence.
We're creating change.
We are creating memories.
We are the future.
I am PTV.
I am PTV. I am PTV.
I am PTV.
We are PTV.
We are continuing the legacy. We are PTV.
This story has so much valid information that we thought we'd run it again just in case you missed it. Scheduled to take place virtually from June 1st to the 10th and June 13th to the 16th, 2022 on Providenciales under the theme Measure Better to Target Better Adaptation and Resilience, the 52nd annual meeting of the CDB began yesterday, June 1st, virtually. The first seminar focused on improving connectivity to achieve regional food security. We gather that it is the first in a discussion series on improving connectivity to foster market integration, achieve food security, and drive shared growth and prosperity in the Caribbean.
This year, the theme Measure Better to Target Better, Adaptation and Resilience will anchor all our activities as we formulate programs to close the distance to the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Implementing programs which ensure we create the best future for our people requires collaborative effort driven by evidence-based strategies and precise actions. Creating an appropriate ecosystem to achieve the SDGs mandates a high degree of innovation and responsiveness to establish the capabilities necessary to address our social, financial, environmental, institutional, and economic challenges. One of those challenges is food security, which has recently taken center stage in regional and international discourse and is also embedded in CARICOM's and CDB's agenda.
This seminar drew on a call by the 33rd intersessional meeting of the CARICOM heads of government for a rethink and redesign of the regional agenda centered around shared prosperity and a more integrated CARICOM and a confirmation of the target to reduce the region's food import by 25% by 2025.
We are pleased to facilitate a seminar entitled Regional Food Security, Streamlining Logistics to Bring Products to Market with a panel of global experts. The dialogue, which is solutions-oriented, will examine the current environment and requirements needed for the Caribbean to achieve food security. It is focused on increasing the trade of agri-food products, improving regional transportation networks, and streamlining border systems and processes. It will also provide a platform for varied perspectives by subject matter experts to posit concrete recommendations and identify quick wins and longer-term opportunities for collaboration amongst our private and public sector partners.
Food security, as defined by the United Nations Committee on World Food Security, means that all people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their food preferences and dietary needs for an active and healthy life. In this first seminar, food security was the main focus.
For the region, food security has been an ongoing concern as our populations are constantly faced with rising food import levels, which are now trending towards US $6 billion annually. This is further compounded by supply and logistic chain challenges, the fallout from COVID-19, and the impact of the war in Ukraine on food prices in the Caribbean. At the bank, we are championing innovative solutions to respond to our unique circumstances. As we continue to leverage knowledge, innovation, and creativity to foster resilience, drive economic diversity, and increase competitive advantage for our economies, we are investing in the sustainable development of the trade and agricultural sectors to generate food security, lower the food import bill, whilst also promoting diversification and innovation in national economies.
Over 200 delegates, including government ministers and officials, private sector representatives, members of civil society, academia, and media were expected to attend the meetings. The program for this year's meetings focus on the greater use of knowledge-based decision-making in addressing the region's economic and environmental challenges. CDB, guided by agricultural strategy and policies and strategic plan, has channeled increasing resources to agriculture, seeking to improve both environmental and infrastructure to encourage greater efficiency along agriculture value chain, providing support to Caribbean Agriculture Health and Food Safety Agency to develop guidelines on capacity building to implement interregional trade in agriculture. Stay tuned for more of this story in a subsequent newscast. The conferences that have been taking place virtually since June 1st up to the 10th and June 13th to the 16th, 2022 on Providenciales under the theme Measure Better to Target Better Adaptation and Resilience. The first seminar focused on improving connectivity to achieve regional food security, and as we learned, it is the first in a discussion series on improving connectivity to foster market integration, achieve food security, and drive shared growth and prosperity in the Caribbean. Food security was the main focus in this seminar, as food security means that all people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their food preferences and dietary needs for an active and healthy life. CDB, guided by agricultural strategy and policies and strategic plan, has channeled increasing resources to agriculture, seeking to improve both environmental and infrastructure to encourage greater efficiency across agriculture value chain, providing support to Caribbean Agriculture Health and Food Safety Agency to develop guidelines on capacity buildings to implement interregional trade in agriculture, which, as stated by Isaac Solomon, VP, Operations at the CDB, has already been done and still continues to be in the works.
We have provided support for the Caribbean Agriculture Health and Food Safety Agency to develop guidelines on capacity building to facilitate intra-regional trade in agriculture. Assisted the CARICOM Organization for Standards and Quality CROSQ to enhance the regional quality infrastructure in 11 countries. Approved $15 million for Haiti to focus on increasing agricultural productivity and improving food and nutrition security. Allocated to the government of Jamaica approximately $54 million from the United Kingdom Caribbean Infrastructure Partnership Fund to introduce new climate-smart agriculture technologies and strengthen food safety infrastructure and systems.
Solomon said that ground funding totaled over $9 million from the European Union to trade-related projects focused on the increase in market access, reducing barriers, and improving infrastructure under the EPA and CSME standby facility.
The bank also continues to advance infrastructural works and improve connectivity by financing construction and upgrades of ports, roads, and drainage in our borrowing member countries. Some of our largest projects undertaken are currently underway in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and in Guyana, with others at varying stages of implementation.
All these mentioned by Isaac are critical to enhancing our logistics system, as we learned, and as he explained, not only to create competitive economies with improved connectivity and market linkages, but they will also contribute to creative sustainability and better use of resources. Pierre Bond, the new trade facilitation advisor at the International Trade Center, was also a presenter at this seminar, bringing to attention the impact on international trade and what needs to be done in order to achieve this flawlessly throughout the Caribbean region.
Governments and the business community to sit together, to identify the problems together, to prioritize the solution together, to design the policies together. And it's only through this mechanism of public-private dialogue that success will be reached. Because there are many private sector stakeholders, there are many government agencies in the supply chain, and no single one of them can find suitable solution on their own. And it's only through this holistic and comprehensive approach of dialogue, getting government and the private sector in the same room, at the same table, that real reform will happen.
Stay tuned for more of this story in a subsequent newscast. And that brings us to the end of this edition of The Real News. I hate to leave you so soon, but of course, you can join us right back here every weekday at 6:30 p.m. and tap into our social media platforms at www.ptv8tci.com. I'm Erica Pinales, keeping you informed, updated, and affiliated. Until next time.